We are counting down to the biggest Hello Gooners of all time, because every time I say Hello Gooners, it gets cut, the beginning bit gets cut. But I'll tell you what, I'm in a very special place. If you can't recognise those shirts behind, that's because you haven't been watching the Loose Cannon enough. I don't know why I'm looking at Alan, who's hovering in the background. Come over here, Alan Gibson of JSoccer magazine. Anyway, Loose Cannon number 53.
Hello, Gooners!
Oh, yeah, look, see, you're getting on side with the fans and that. And
hello, Gooners!
It's got to be done like that. And we're going to be talking things strictly Arsenal. Probably not.
I just go with the
Probably
flow.
not.
Tiote Andre flow even. Maybe.
Yeah, but he didn't play for Arsenal. So
no, sorry about that.
Don't mention the blue side of London. Have they got a whole side to themselves? Who knows? But what you do know about is Arsenal's recent performance at Stoke. You watched the whole 90 minutes, right, Alan?
I did. I didn't fall asleep once.
You didn't fall asleep?
The Gooners, they don't mind you wearing this PSG shirt, do they?
No, but this is Arsene Wenger's next club. Somebody told me.
And haven't you going to say something about Freddie Ljungberg?
Oh yeah, Freddie's back again.
Freddie, no?
Freddie's back, you know, with the special gloves that Fabianski wears as well. You know, those sort of...
This is Freddie Ljungberg's former team, you know, S-Pulse. This is the classic 90s shirt with the old world thingy, but...
I'm talking of Freddie, you know, the scary Freddie. Looks a bit like Halloween to me. Anyway, it's just me. It's just me.
Actually, I'm wearing the wrong
shirt. It's an abbreviation for it.
I'm wearing the wrong shirt. Do some kind of intro anyway.
Right, I'm going to do an intro while he disappears, and he's switching shirts, and obviously we've seen a lot of switching shirts during this transfer window. We will be talking about the transfer window, whether Alan likes it or not. But here he is, back in
hello, Gooners!
A very dated-looking Arsenal shirt. It's not that dated actually, with Inamoto on the back. He wasn't wearing success at Arsenal, unfortunately, but
wasn't given a chance.
But Rio is going to be. Not this season though, because he's obviously at Wigan. So we're not going to talk any more about Rio, because we always do that. What we're going to talk about, as I was talking about before, the last game. I mean, would you be worried if you were Arsene Wenger about the lack of goals, or would you just be pleased about the lack of conceding goals for a change? Given the new ball, of course, the Nike Maxim ball.
Nothing wrong with the new ball.
But everyone's complaining. Everyone's saying it's causing goalkeepers to make horrendous mistakes.
It's not like this one. Boing, boing.
But the thing is, we're used to goalkeepers making horrendous mistakes at Arsenal. Fabianski hasn't played yet. I won't say any more on that.
Flapperanski, yeah.
Did Manoni play well, in your opinion?
Manoni, I guess most of you, hello Gooners!
You don't have to keep saying it. Once is enough. Once is enough. You're overdoing it now.
Manoni didn't have a lot to do, to be honest, but what he did efficiently.
Yeah.
And he's got a huge nose, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I mean that could get in the way of a shot. So let's not complain about that. What about the defence in general? Would you be satisfied if you were Arsene Wenger?
Yes.
Notice a slight sort of French tone coming into my voice then?
Yes, I think I would be quite happy with the performance today.
You'd be very happy, or just a little bit content?
I think the problem was not in the defence, but we did not finish, and brought on both of the wingers, Mr. Chamberlain and Mr. the other guy, Walcotty.
You know when he said Oxlade-Chamberlain the other day, I thought he was talking about another player, because he sounded like trampoline.
Trampoline?
Yeah, it sounded like trampoline. So I thought, well, he'd be jumping all over the place.
He did his best. I mean, he brought on the boys, the Southampton rejects.
Yeah.
Both wings, both at the same time, and they went for it, but they didn't quite get it. But I don't see any problem. Keep it tight at the back. Hey, Mr. George Graham always was happy with 0-0 draws and 1-0 draws, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, just talking about Theo for a moment, I kind of got sidetracked as soon as you mentioned his name, because, well, I'm not in love with him, but I am from a footballing point of view. But he got a bit, I mean, in football parlance, I know you've got to be careful with these sort of words, but he got a bit of a roasting off the fans on the internet. Do you think that was fair? I know you've not read the comments I have, and have said that he's basically no better than a sprinter. Somebody else said that, an Arsenal former Arsenal player said that, Stuart Houston. He doesn't seem to be getting much airtime on Arsenal Player anymore, which is Arsenal TV. So,
yeah,
so the club clearly don't want anyone saying the wrong thing to Theo right now, bearing in mind he's only got a year left on his contract. So what do you think? Do you think he's more than a sprinter? I mean, I think it's really harsh. I'll just throw
Exactement, mon ami. I think perhaps he's suffering a bit of a little a confidence downer at the moment, which is why, of course, we don't want people saying bad things about him, because the confidence will keep going down, won't it? I think Theo is one of the the greatest players alive today. That should give him a confidence push.
Yeah.
Can you hear that, Theo? You're a fantastic player. No, I mean, I think he's a great player. I mean, the things he can do. I mean, the little bits of magic that he did for England last year. I mean, or was it this year? You know, even in Japan, you know, it's like everything's hey, get back on the screen. Sorry.
Right. Well, you're back on.
So yeah, I think he's a great player. He just maybe needs a bit more time on the field, perhaps, Mr. Wenger, or
So
at least some confidence.
If he were to go, would he be a bigger loss than, say, Alex Song? That's a tough one.
Yes.
You think so?
I think so.
What does he give the Arsenal team aside from pace? Is what everyone said. I'd say pace means an awful lot, especially in the Premier League. But do you think he's a good finisher? Because I do.
Yes, I do.
You're not supposed to agree with me on everything.
Yes,
right?
sorry. He's terrible for
What about his control? Because a lot of people say he hasn't got a football brain. That's the thing that a lot of people say. Not me particularly, because I think he's learning. But
how old is he? I mean, he's
23, something like
that.
that.
Like everybody thinks he's been around forever, but you know, 7 years at the top or whatever. Well, you know, at the top. But he's still only 23, isn't he? So
roughly. I could be wrong.
Give him a break. I think he needs a little bit of a run in the team, a bit of confidence. And to be honest, though, looking for the future, if he does leave, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is
the trampoline who is jumping at the bit to get in.
Hopefully, Miyaichi, hopefully Rio can also get in another year or two. And he's more than just a sprinter, you know. So
yeah, he's pretty quick as well. So, and what about the forward line? The new players like, well, let's just talk about the forwards to start with. Olivier Giroud.
Giroud looked pretty good, I think. How much was he?
I think 13 million. So, cheap at the price or a rip-off?
Well, compared to Alex Song, bargain.
And do you think he will score a lot of goals in the Premier League?
I think he will score plenty of the goals.
And is he a tad greedy, as we say in France?
You have to be greedy to be a forward. Come on.
But what about that shot he hit? It was a bit of a no-hoper kind of shot, although it went very close. You know that shot when Rambo, as we like to call him, Aaron Ramsey, was tearing down the middle?
Yeah.
Given Aaron Ramsey's goal-scoring form of late, I would probably do the same as Giroud and aim at goal. But you know, normally you would tend to, not you because you were a very greedy player, or you still play, don't you?
Yep,
still. But so you wouldn't condemn Giroud for making an attempt on goal when it seemed very unlikely he would score?
Of course not. Would you condemn Peter Crouch for that attempt on goal from 35 yards last season, or would you condemn Cisse for that goal against Chelsea? I mean, you don't try, you don't score.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes it's so disheartening when somebody shoots from, say, the halfway line, unless that somebody's me, of course, but if somebody hasn't really got a powerful shot and it ends up straight in the goalkeeper's hands, it's so disheartening because there you are making these runs forward and the ball's not going to come your way, and it's not good for team spirit. Although I have to say, on Sunday, team spirit didn't look a problem, did it? Or
no, I think the little team has spirit,
plenty,
bravado. That's what you're daring to do.
Oh,
don't we get that in all the podcasts?
And what about talking of Podolski? What about him?
I think, I don't know, he should be match fit, shouldn't he? But he didn't seem match fit.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
In my humble opinion. And he was taken off after 65 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, he looked, now and again he looked like a genius, and other times he looked a bit behind the pace. But going back to, you know, to bring in Japan, because that's why we're here, Japan Football and the JSoccer magazine, by the way, with a cover of Freddie Ljungberg. plug.
I've already tried that.
Okay.
It didn't sell.
The problem with Japanese players is that they don't try the impossible. They don't try. They pass, and they don't want to shoot. So, you know, I mean, in the Premier League, you got these guys scoring amazing goals. Peter Crouch scored, 1 in 25 or whatever, of those kind of shots. But they go in, don't they? But Japanese players, in general, tend to be scared to fail, shall we say.
Yeah.
So they don't try that, so it's a big difference.
But I see that as a positive thing in a way, because if you keep the ball, you're not going to lose games, are you? And then look at Japan, I would say, I don't know if you agree with me, but the Japan national side, not necessarily overachieving, but certainly achieving what they're expected to achieve. Whereas Great Britain, look at the Great Britain side. I know we promised we wouldn't talk about the Great Britain side, but it's now happening. Aaron Ramsey.
Sorry, Aaron Ramsey. You're going to talk about Great Britain. Great Britain. I'm going to get out.
You're going to get the shirt on. You're going to get the Great Britain shirt.
Great Britain.
Well, wait, I'll tell you something. You've got to check this shirt out. Have you ever seen a Great Britain shirt that looks like this? Wait until you see it.
Oh, he's back.
Does that look like a Great Britain shirt to you? Team GB. Does it look like one? I've never seen one looking quite like that.
Anyway,
it's the wrong colour for starters. I mean, Britain don't play in turquoise.
Britain don't play at all.
And where did you get this from?
Let's not.
Are you not going to tell us?
Let's
not
not
reveal your sources.
What's the word here? Let's not go into the politics of the fact that Great Britain were never going to get a decent team anyway, were they? Let's face it. When the best players are like 37 years old, or totally untried, untested people like Joe Allen. Who the hell is he? Oh, he's playing for Liverpool. Oh, is he? Sorry about that. I mean, Great Britain were never going to do anything in that anyway, were they? And you know, FIFA, 4 votes, blah blah blah. It's a long story. Forget Great Britain. Okay, here.
All right, let's talk about Arsenal instead. And now another change of shirt is on the cards. We've talked about Podolski, and I've got to say, I think, just from my point of view, I feel Podolski just needs time to gel with his teammates, as they all probably do. Giroud, being he's further forward at the moment, anyway. I mean, he's obviously going to play as a striker, as a proper striker, whereas Podolski's going to get moved all over the park, so it's going to take a bit longer to adjust because of that, I feel.
But Podolski could possibly be the greatest striker in the world. Sorry, I couldn't resist it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm wearing an FC Copenhagen shirt. It just happened to be the one lying over there. And
oh, talking of which, you will be surprised to hear that Arsenal have been linked with a Dane.
A Dane?
Not a great Dane. Well, I don't know. He's probably quite tall, but he's a left back. And I'll have to check my notes. What's his name? He's got Nikolai Boilsen.
I heard that. That's
so you
why
heard
I'm
that
wearing
one?
this. Boilsen, yeah.
But he's not playing in Denmark. He's playing for Ajax.
Indeed.
I don't really know a lot about him, but it would be a very strange purchase because he's out for 3 to 6 weeks injured. Would you buy a cropped player if you were Arsene Wenger and he's a left back? Do you think Arsenal need a left back? You saw Kieran Gibbs. Was Kieran Gibbs impressive enough?
Yeah, I think. Well, I wasn't.
And then we got Santos as well.
Wasn't Kieran Gibbs out having a baby or something?
Huh.
Or was that someone else?
I think that was someone else.
Sorry about that.
I don't know what he's on about now. But he'll tell me later. Yeah.
What was the question?
Kieran Gibbs. Next thing you'll be
would
saying,
he
didn't one of those brothers die?
Yeah.
And was it Kieran? He was great when he was with the Bee Gees and that.
I thought it was Norris McWhirter.
Yeah, was it Norris?
He was one of the brothers who died. Anyway, would you buy a cropped left-footed player? Well, Alex Ferguson just did.
Did he?
Yes.
And he's actually cropped. And the player is put me out of my misery because I can't think.
Talk about
cropped.
Throwing him a link for Robin van Persie.
He's not cropped.
Ah, come on.
Not yet.
You're hoping he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Now that he's gone. I mean, an injury-prone guy who's had one good season.
Injury-prone?
Excellently, a wonderful season for Arsenal. Hello, Gunners! But, I mean...
injury-prone and being injured.
Yeah.
Not quite the same thing.
I tell you what, if I wanted to sell my house, I'd want Arsene Wenger to be my estate agent.
Oh, yes.
Just read that on the internet.
Yeah. You read that on the internet?
Yeah.
That's a
well, I
good
can't
line.
claim to have made it up myself because it's a good line, isn't it?
You could at least credit the website, but
yeah,
no.
but I can't remember.
Yeah,
It
right.
was somebody on
Maybe
Twitter. It's just the same guy who probably said that Robin van Persie's house has been burnt down and they suspect arson.
Yes. Didn't we do that gag before?
Exactly. So it's probably the best gag in the world.
Not as good as the power of Jesus Navas compels you to say silly jokes like that.
Have you bought JSoccer magazine, by the way? No, sorry.
Right, okay. Let's get back to transfers. I was the one who started this one, by the way. I have to take credit. Sorry about that.
The transfer or the rumour?
No, this rumour about it's Johan, right? Cabaye.
Yes.
The Newcastle midfielder. Because I really thought he was a good player, and I couldn't understand why Arsenal are not interested in him, and why would they be interested in Tiote?
Yeah.
And that's been denied by Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger said he's a good player, but he's not on the way to Arsenal.
He does not be speaking the best French, so
And he doesn't speak French
Surely
as
doesn't.
well as Johan Cabaye.
Cabaye.
He didn't say anything about Cabaye, but would he be a good buy? Cabaye.
Goodbye. Tell you, it'd be a good buy.
Without launching into a song, can you answer that question?
No,
would he be good?
No, Arsenal
yes or no?
don't
need him.
Arsenal don't need him. But on the other hand, if Ben Arthur became available.
Oh yeah, but Arsenal were linked with Ben Arthur back in the day before they signed that horrible guy we don't like talking about, the one that ended up at Manchester City, the right/left winger.
Oh yeah,
You know
Mubarak. Yeah, right.
You know him.
Yeah, we're not
The unmentionable one.
allowed to mention him, are we?
No.
Like the guy in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Voldemort. Oh, sorry, Harry Potter fans.
But he had his own song, and then it went na 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 na.
19.
Yeah, I shouldn't sing songs. We get copyright problems.
Actually, he's 19, isn't he?
Yeah, we might do. Anyway, so he wasn't 19. He was a bit older than that. But I think Hatem Ben Arfa might have been in his teens or closer to it. So I wanted Arsenal to buy Hatem Ben Arfa, not Nazari. Oops, sorry, I said it again. Got indigestion there. But anyway, so you think it would be a good signing if he could be prized away from Newcastle? And what's the chances of that, given that Newcastle is suddenly not a selling team anymore, are they?
Suddenly, I just said that he wouldn't be a good buy, and you're saying he would be.
No, I said he. Oh yeah, I thought you said he would be.
No, Arsenal have got enough in that.
Not Ben. You said Ben Arfa would be a good buy.
Ben
you said
Arfa
Cabaye wouldn't be.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, doesn't Ben Arfa play for Aston Villa?
Well, not to my knowledge. So we might have a player similar to Ben Arfa in Cazorla.
Yeah.
And I found this very interesting today. I found that Martin Keown had said that Cazorla is better than Cesc Fabregas, and then he added this caveat: with the ball. How about without the ball? That's a tough one, right? Can you answer that? Is he better without the ball?
Well,
Keown
a lot of players do run about off the ball and create space for other players. But as Bill Shankly once said, if you're not interfering with play, you shouldn't be on the field. And I think you should be, just wanted to get that in that, Bill Shankly.
And you could be interfering with the podcast by fiddling about with your JSoccer
Sorry,
magazines.
I'm just moving these magazines.
Well, if you're going to move them, could you move them a bit quieter? Sorry to get on your case about it and that. But anyway, so Cazorla, is he better or worse or the same as Cesc? It's a silly question, really. He's a bit older. He should be better, really, but...
No, I don't think he's as good as Cesc, man. Fabregas is the king of, well, not anymore because he's not a gooner, but he used to be pretty good,
He's not bad. He's not bad.
Still
now,
not bad, is he? I wouldn't mind him
I've still
to come
got
back.
my Cesc shirts, and I don't care who gets annoyed by it. Well, I do if they're really big and strong and vicious. Anyway, moving on. What about Jermaine Defoe? Ian Wright has come out and he's getting a lot of flack from Arsenal fans in recent weeks, and
Ian Wright has come out.
He's not come out in that sense.
Oh,
he's come out and said we should sign Jermaine Defoe. And Jermaine Defoe was linked with Arsenal before he signed to Spurs, and that's a very long time ago.
How much are we talking?
I didn't see a transfer fee. Would you sign him and take a chance?
You'd sign him for nothing.
You'd sign him for nothing.
Sign him for nothing.
I don't think it's going to be available on a free, and then Spurs are going to inflate the price.
I think Jermaine Defoe would be a great super sub kind of player, but does he want to be a super sub kind of player? Or does he want to go to a team like Aston Villa, who are having troubles? I mean, he would suit Aston Villa down to the ground.
As would Nicholas Bendtner.
Nicholas Bendtner. Well,
where's he going to go?
He's apparently going to Milan, Juventus, Mars. In fact, I just saw him on the CNN. He's on Mars right now.
Yeah. Might be the best place for him.
Well, I think he went to fetch the ball from his last shot.
Yeah. That's one of your better gags. So, anything else I should mention? I think we've been through Bendtner enough. £5 million, is that? Would you pay £5 million for Nicholas Bendtner? Oh, the other clubs, by the way, I've just noticed: Celta Vigo, Galatasaray, and you said AC Milan, didn't you? Mm-hmm. So, and the whole thinking behind that is that I think Juve are now going to have decided they will spend that kind of money. Obviously, they were going to spend proper money on Robin van Persie, so they've got money to burn, so to speak. And they were looking at Fernando Llorente, who's been linked with Arsenal, Edin Dzeko at Manchester City, who's not available at a cheap price. So the cheap bargain, if you like, risky sort of bargain is Bendtner. But I mean, he's still quite young. I mean, surely he's got a future ahead of him if he gets his head right. What do you think of him as a striker? Because I mean, I've heard most people think he's just big-headed, but can't seem to get past his ego. But if you get past his ego, there's a good player there, right? He's got a certain amount of pace. It's good in the air.
I'd lay odds on at Paddy Power, of course. But he could.
We're not sponsored, by the way.
We're
so
not. Just
Paddy,
get but if you want to see my
get it back. Get it back. No, I've got to keep control here.
I think it'd be depends who's supplying him.
Yeah.
Supply and demand. No.
Yeah.
I mean, the big guys. I mean, if we go way back to John Charles and Mark Haitley and all those, which many of you guys have never even heard of. oh, when I was a lad, you know, the big guys went to Italy.
But they took a long time to blossom, didn't they?
They did indeed. It's like the Brazilians who come to Japan. But that's another story, which we can go into sometime perhaps.
Yes, and that sort of leads me on to Cerezo, but I'm not going to go there. Cerezo, blossom, cherry blossom, you know.
So, but we were there last week.
We were there.
In fact, we've got the match day program.
Just to prove
Cerezo,
it. Just to prove it.
And it was a great game.
Yeah, and you're not even including my article in the magazine, but that's another story. Right, I keep saying that because of you. But anyway, Yann M'Vila. Yann M'Vila, the France international. He's been linked with Arsenal forever. He's been linked with loads of other clubs suddenly. Manchester City, I didn't know were interested. Suddenly, he's been linked with them for £15 million. And Spurs, obviously, they're flush with cash now that they've sold Modric finally to Real Madrid. £33 million, wasn't it? Something like that. But Spurs have put in a bid of £12.7 million plus add-ons for M'Vila. And it was rejected. So they want 15 million and they're not going to budge. So, I mean, you must have seen some of him in the Euros. What did you think? Worth 15 million, or didn't he make a huge impression?
I thought he was getting on a bit, and he's put on a lot of weight, and his Scouse accent is really bad.
M'Vila.
Oh, M'Vila. I thought you said Jan Molby. Sorry. Jan Molby. M'Vila.
M'Vila.
Don't know anything about him, sorry.
Yeah.
No,
but you saw France.
I saw him come on. I mean, he looked, you know, flash in the pan. I don't know. I mean, he looked a bit like Walcott does at times, you know. I mean, he did some amazing stuff, and then you know, he's short and he's got sort of hair and a nose and 2 ears.
Yeah. and doesn't play in the same position.
My French friends, mes amis français, told me that they were desperately sad, or actually they used other words that I can't say on this podcast. That M'Vila didn't get more time. And,
really? They rate him that highly?
They do rate him so
more highly than Cabaye.
I think so, yes.
Wow.
I think so, yeah.
Not me. So, do you know anything about Affelay and Isco? A couple of wingers from playing in La Liga.
Oh, that's two people.
Linked. Two. Yeah, not
I thought
not
that
the
was
one.
Like some kind of Arabic name, like Afellay and Isco.
Yeah. So, Affelay, I think he was playing in Holland.
I've heard of him, yeah.
Isco, I know a little bit less about. I don't think I've seen.
I think Affelay makes a really good tarama salata.
Yeah.
And what was the other guy? Isco.
Isco.
Oh, he does. He's got he makes that stuff that you put in all the cook. Oh, that's Cisco, isn't it? Sorry.
Okay.
The Isco Kid, though, when he does come,
he's got a nickname all lined up.
The Isco Kid.
And so, finally, I'm going to leave it on a bit of a bum note by mentioning Robin van Persie. Mikel Arteta's come out and said that he's irreplaceable, and Jamie Redknapp was saying the same thing. He said, look, these current strikers at Arsenal, they're no match for Robin van Persie. I mean, do you think Robin van Persie is replaceable? Expecting the answer yes.
Yes, of course he is. Otherwise they wouldn't have sold him, would they? Well, I mean, maybe they would, because they only got 1 year on his contract. They want to make a fortune on a guy who's going to get crocked in the second game.
But is he really that good, Robin van Persie, after one amazing season?
Exactly, he had
and
one
a number of crop seasons.
Incredible season, but was he going to do the same this year? We'll wait and see, shall we? I mean, somebody could land on his thigh and boom, it all splits open, and that happened to someone else.
And his chocolate leg.
Yeah.
He calls it a chocolate leg. His bad leg, supposed bad leg. But yeah, I mean, me personally, I don't see. I think Robin van Persie's going to get 15 goals, but maybe 20. But he's not going to get the ridiculous amount of goals he got last season.
Maybe Arsenal should sign that Nicholas Bendtner guy.
Oh yeah, remember him?
Where's he playing for now?
Well, yeah, I mean, if the ego lands somewhere else, perhaps we'll take him without his ego, and then we'll be quids in, and the bank balance will be looking better than ever. So I think we'll leave it for now. Alan, thank you very much for joining me on the Loose Cannon number 53, I believe.
De rien, c'est mon plaisir, monsieur.
Oh, wow. And don't you speak Japanese as well?
Merci beaucoup, je ne comprends pas.
All right, I will cut you off before you embarrass yourself in Francais. And till the next time, I will say, up the Gunners!
Bye, Gooners!